happy Wednesday, everybody. I almost forgot what day it was. That's kind of sad, isn't it? But that's kind of how busy I've been. And hopefully you have been too. So I kind of wanted to jump on today. I kind of heard some rumors flying about truck drivers shut down, blocking highways and ramps and things like this. And that just, to me, I mean, we had something similar to that. What was it, back in the 70s? Honestly, I don't see that as a solution, right? And this was obviously all about freight rates, but honestly, volumes are down right now. And there's a lot of, there is a lot of stuff going on about, there's a truck driver shortage, there's a freight shortage, there's a this shortage, there's a that's. It's a whizzle, it's a wazzle, it's a whatever. I don't have the data on if we actually are in a driver shortage or not. I do know that numbers have come down, right? But I don't know if it's been significant enough for it to be such an impact on things, right? Before I forget here, the chat is open for anybody that wants to chime in on this before I forget. But I don't see a driver shutdown, blocking highways and things like that as a solution to raising rates, right? I mean, I just had this. Let me see if I can pull it up. I meant to have this loaded earlier, and I did not. It was actually a. Let me see if I can do this. Yep. Okay, can you guys see that? This is and this is actually from Frank. He's a buddy of mine. He posted this. This was the average break-even cost per mile. Okay, so that being said, I don't know, is it really gotten that high? And not to sound ignorant, or uneducated about this, I knew that the break-even cost per mile had gone up from what it was, a couple of years ago. I didn't realize it was quite that significant. Like I said, I mainly work on the brokerage side of things. I do, get involved in the trucking side of things, but primarily I'm kind of I don't know what you call it, like a boots on the ground sort of a thing. I don't do the back office thing. I hate it's just too tedious. I'd rather talk to drivers all day. I truly would, right? But I kind of wonder, and this has been a little bit of my thoughts, and I've been trying to kind of pick some of my friends' minds on this, and maybe you guys have something that, some input on this, is I've brought up before about some of the foreign entities that are doing business here in the U.S., right? With the double brokering and things like this. And like when I check Carrier OK, when I get a call on a load and it says, that they're brand new authority, they've got one truck, one driver, right? Doesn't specify what type of equipment it is. It's probably just a box truck or something that's sitting on a back lot that nobody uses. But then you can hear like 20 dispatchers in the background all booking loads. So you mean to tell me that you've got all these people booking loads for one truck and one driver? Do they think we're dumb? And obviously some of us must be, because they're getting away with it. So I kind of wonder, what kind of an impact is that having? Because obviously it creates service failures. So what kind of an impact is that having overall on freight rates as well, right? When you start having, brother, the study that came out for this year says at $2.25 a mile, you're hauling freight for free. Yeah, I mean, and I've got, and it's kind of tough because I'm truly fighting with some of my clients, customers, for higher rates, because I work with some of you regularly, right? Or they say, "Hey Tim, can you find some freight for me?" And I'm digging, but when they keep throwing stuff back at me at like $1.86 a mile, $1.51 a mile, $1.35 a mile, What am I supposed to do with that? Someone please tell me. I can't. I can't in good conscience even post that on a board and go, well, somebody will take it, right? And I'm sure that I probably could. But then I'm contributing at that point, at least that's my feeling on it, and maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm contributing to these lower rates by doing that. If I hold back and say, hey, I don't have a driver that can haul it for $1 a mile loss, right? It's 749 miles, and he's going to take $1 a mile loss from his break-even cost. Did that come out right? It sounded goofy when I said it. But I mean, honestly, and I know that shippers are probably going, well, we went over our transportation budget a couple of years ago. You know, we've got a good memory, and now it's our turn, right? And I know that there's still some good freight out there, but there again, this kind of all goes back to one of my preach points was build relationships, right? Build relationships with your customers and your brokers if you're a carrier. And if you're a broker, you need to be doing the same, because it's easier to get those the dedicated freight, the higher rate freight that's available by establishing those relationships. If you're primarily just living on the load boards, you're done. You might as well hand in the keys, right? Tell them to come get it. Obviously, that's drastic, but you get my point, I hope. But I really, truly wonder, kind of going back, how much of an impact are these foreign entities, you know, these fictitious double brokers having on our industry? There was a post about it the other day, and this is a conversation that I've had probably for the last 2 months with people, is on these unscrupulous foreigners that don't even live here. They're using the virtual offices and putting down that their address goes to a Goodwill and a church in California and stuff. I've talked about this, right? And do you think they're ever going to pay the originating carrier? No. And hopefully that carrier knows how to track down the original broker, right? And be able to file on the bond and things before it gets all used up. I've gone over example after example. And this is primarily what a lot of this channel is about, right? Is education and to get your guys' feedback on stuff. I don't want my opinion to be the sole opinion, right? This is America. Okay? So again, if you guys have a different idea, a different thought on things, by all means, like I said, I love the feedback, because then you know what? Maybe I didn't think about it that way. Or you guys have a piece of data that you want to share with me or something, which, by the way, let me share my email again for those of you that maybe don't already have it. If you guys have anything that you would like to share, some industry news, anything like that, right? Again, you can remain anonymous if you prefer. I'd be more than happy to share that out to the group and to the YouTube channel, you know, and get the word out for you. But yeah, you know, and kind of going back to the shutdown just a little bit, I apologize for kind of being over the board here, is there's no unification anymore. There really isn't. Not like there was. You know, I mean, we've seen the other strikes. There was that one, what was it, this past spring? You know, there was like 50 drivers that showed up, and then the organizer didn't even show himself. I mean, it was a joke, you know. And then they're trying to get, you know, the attention from the government, and they come out and they're like, really, 50 of you? That seems extremely important, doesn't it? I mean, look at it from their side of view, because they don't know, right? And I just recently heard a story. There was a a driver, he actually had talked to I believe it was a congressman or something. They had no idea that drivers even slept in their trucks. They asked, is it true that drivers actually sleep in their trucks? What do you think that big cab's for? Right? I mean, that's how oblivious they are. All they care about is getting reelected and saying the right things when the right time comes. After that, they don't give a crap about you or me until it gets close to election time. And I'm not going to get into a political rant on that and how my opinion on it is that it's a unified party, not a two-party system anymore. Anyway, but yeah, it's gotten ridiculous, and I mean I'm all for a shutdown if that's what it takes, but I don't think that that's what it is. And I obviously I'm not for blocking highways and stuff and causing everybody, other people to be late for work and emergency vehicles to get through and things, but I just don't see it happening. I don't see enough people just sitting home for any length of time. I mean, imports are, to my knowledge, last time I looked, are down. That's going to have an impact on the available freight. So when, and this is the thing, like, because I talked to some drivers and they have no idea about, and it's no fault of their own, right? And I'm not picking on anybody, but they have no idea the brokerage side of things, right? And that's why another reason why I love to talk to drivers, because I can hear what's going on with them, and then they can hear what's going on with us, right? Like I think I mentioned, there was a couple of Fridays ago, I had some spot market loads that I threw up on DAT. I did not talk to one legitimate carrier the whole day. Not one call came in from a legitimate carrier. They were all double brokers. It's just ridiculous. I mean, do you guys have anything that you would like to add to that? I mean, I don't know. But when volumes are down and capacity is up, the freight market, the rates drop, right? We kind of saw it in 2019, if you remember, right? Not somewhat recent history. 2018, the ELD mandate hit and the market rate shot up, right? For those of you that were, either brokering or on the trucking side of things at the time. And inevitably what ended up happening, because they kept saying, oh, we've got a shortage. From the brokerage side of things, there was no shortage, right? But they kept preaching that, and inevitably what ended up happening is we ended up in an overcapacity, so much so that the market dropped and the freight volumes went down. And so what ended up happening is we ended up losing a lot of carriers, right? Everybody from owner operators up to larger fleets. Okay. The only way for me to combat all this is by switching up routes. Right now, short runs pay better than you can kind of play with it. That's true. That's something I'm also noticing. Like now I'm going from Morrison, Tennessee for $3.43 per mile to Orlando, Florida, and kind of take a hit out of Florida, $1.80 a mile, then back to South Carolina for what I can get. And some days are good, some not. But we're still making money. As for staying home, nice thought, but as truckers, we never seem to come together enough to make a difference. Thank you. You kind of to my point. That's awesome. $3.43 a mile. That's pretty good when you start averaging back. I mean, from $1.80 to, I don't know what your operating costs are per mile, but hopefully it makes it worthwhile, right? But yeah, I just don't understand how owner operators, carriers are truly surviving out there. You know, I've got, I bet you today I probably took 9 different brokerage calls from people calling me up to ask me if I had freight and if I would be willing to co-broker it to them. That is, I mean, you think, okay, well, that's 9 calls, but that's a lot, right? 9 different brokerages calling me for freight because nobody has any. I mean, it's out there, but it's a lot of it, like I said, it's just it's trash rates, you know. And if even if it's halfway decent, like let's say it's paying market or something, but depending upon what market is, market rate might be $1.86 a mile, you know, and the customer's paying $1.85 a mile, you know, and then they think the broker's taking everything on top, you know, or that we're price gouging drivers. And I'm sure that there's some brokers out there that are doing it, right? Not everybody has a conscience, but for a lot of the spot market freight that I'm seeing out there, it's just trash. It's just trash. I don't even really mess with it, you know. I mean, I'm searching out. I've got some dedicated freight that I do, you know, right now primarily out west, but I mean, I'm looking for more freight, and I've talked to other brokers, and companies just aren't working with anybody else. Everybody's holding tight. They don't need anybody, you know. And some of my customers that I've done a lot of business with over the years, you know, I keep reaching out to them, and their answer is the same. Well, hopefully by November we'll have some freight for you. You know, so that's what, a month and a half roughly. You know, I mean, thank God I have a ton of customers, but I mean, even their freight has dropped off significantly. Some of those customers that had 50 to 100 loads a day, they've got 7 to 10, you know. Like I said, I wish I kind of had a lot more of the data. And if you guys have any of this stuff, you know, I'm one person. I try to dig out as much of it as I can from time to time. And I don't have anybody else. Like I said, I'm not uber technically advanced. So I'm trying to get stuff where I can, or learn how to grab better screenshots and stuff. I have tried it, but some of the stuff, I don't know, for whatever reason, it comes out real blurry. And then when I pull it up for you guys, it doesn't show up very well. So that's kind of why I haven't done it. But I would like to kind of get a whole different, all these different sets of, or areas of data, right? Like actually, you know, what are freight volumes in correlation to capacity, you know, things like that. How much of the media is BS? But yeah, I don't know what to do about freight rates, honestly. I really truly don't. I wish I had a magic bullet answer for everybody, but I don't. I think, but I do, like I said, I do truly feel like education is key, right? Our industry, especially, it doesn't matter what you do in life. You might be watching this right now and you're not even in, you know, the trucking industry, but we evolve, or our industry is constantly changing. It's constantly updating, right? And so there again, I think education is key. Relationships are key to success in this industry. Networking, right? All of that. And that's why, you know, I try to bring you guys some of the resources that I've pulled, you know, some of these companies like Carrier OK, Carrier Check, which if you guys, hey, it doesn't matter if you're a carrier or a broker, eCarrier Check, they've got a ton of shippers on there, and they've got a hiring index and stuff. In fact, I do plan on having Nate on. He actually sent me an email reminder, and I've been so swamped. I haven't had a chance to get back to him, but I'm going to after this video, and maybe have him on, because eCarrier Check is really cool, guys. But the OpperFi factoring, if you're a fleet owner, right now, and you need drivers, we can help you out with that. Like, I try to provide these resources, updates, information, education. Again, my opinion is mine, but if you guys have differing opinion, like I said, I'd love to hear it. You guys can email me privately. If you don't already have my phone number and you're on Facebook, DM me. I'll give you my phone number. We can talk. And then, like I said, maybe if you'd love to be on the show and put in your 2 cents on things, then hey, I'd love to have you on. We should talk, my brother. Maybe we can figure out some things that could help people. You got my number, brother. I've been trying a lot of different things, going outside the box. Yeah, I will give you a call. I'll shoot you a text first, because I don't want to bother you when you're driving, but to see if you're available. But for sure, I mean, I think that when we hit instances like this recession that we're going through, it's important to think outside the box, right? We have to kind of change our mindset maybe a little bit. And this again goes back to networking, right? And relationships and communication, so that we can share ideas and things. This is all part of what this channel is, the Facebook group and things. So that we can all help each other, because like I said, I try to be everybody's biggest cheerleader, which obviously if you've got a significant other, I'm sure they are, right? And I'll play second fiddle. Okay. But I truly don't ever want to see anybody not succeed. I just don't. And sometimes it gets a little overwhelming for me when when people hit me up and they're like, hey, I've got 150 trucks. Can you help me keep them moved? It's like, yeah, give me a little time. Let me make those calls. But when shippers are not bringing on more brokerages, or saying, my current broker, while they're not the greatest, we're just not looking to add anybody new right now. Because I've had those calls. They're not happy with their broker, but they're not willing to give me a chance on it either, right? So this is where those follow-up calls and things are so important, And if you're a broker or a carrier out there looking for your own direct freight, and you're struggling with making those cold calls or those emails or anything like that, hit me up. I will help you, right? I will spend that time on the phone. We can do Zoom videos, whatever. I'll be more than happy to try to help. Like I said, I want to see everybody succeed. And like I said, again, you don't have to be a broker or a broker agent. You can be an owner operator. You could have 5 trucks, 10 trucks, 100 trucks. If you're looking for your own freight, I'll do my best to help you. There was a time when I could jump on the phone with somebody. We could do some live cold calling. Let me make 10 calls. Boom, we can get them a customer. That's not the case anymore, right? So it's gotten substantially more difficult, and I'm hoping that things turn around soon. We've got the holidays kind of upcoming. Again, if you're into the seasonal type freight, always try to think 3 months ahead and reach out to those shippers that, like pumpkins, right? Pumpkins are shipping right now. We should have been calling on those in July, right? Calling those shippers, because right now it's too late. They've already got the brokers and the direct carriers that they need to haul those, right? So if you're using that as, Christmas trees will be coming up. So now would be the time to start calling on those shippers that are shipping Christmas trees. So if you're a flatbed owner operator or a broker that works, that does flatbed freight, that kind of stuff, I believe they even load them on dry vans sometimes, vented vans. Now's the time to be making those calls and educating yourself. If you have never done it before, start researching that now and finding out what the requirements are. Network, talk to somebody who's done those types of loads before that can help you, right? Again, with the holiday freight, turkeys, right? We got Thanksgiving coming up. People serve ham, all that. I'm just throwing out different examples, right? And with winter coming, everybody goes, well, we know we're going to hit that January, February lull. Okay. If you ship reefer produce as a broker, or if you are a reefer carrier, do not forget about those root vegetables, right? So like your carrots, your potatoes, things like that still ship. There's actually, out of the Southwest, there's produce that will be shipping that's not root vegetables. So depending upon where you're at, and in Carolinas, they ship sweet potatoes, yams, that kind of thing. So yeah, whether you're, like I said, whether you're a carrier or a broker, there are places out there. And when we start thinking that 3 months ahead, they could potentially be a long-term customer for us. And that gives us that 3-month cushion. If they initially go, yeah, we're not ready to ship right now, maybe check back in with us in 3 months. Nope, it's already too late. I'll be checking in with them at least once a week for every week for the next 3 months until they ship, until they tell me to quit calling. Right? If you want to succeed, you can't cheat the grind. You've got to do it. Right? So I apologize. I didn't mean to get too preachy there, but I know that there's enough people out there struggling. And yeah, buddy, I will definitely shoot you a text. Yeah, it's been a minute since we kind of talked. We'll as a fact, I read today rates are going to be on the way up. They're saying November it should be an average of $2.65 a mile, and Carolina is a lot of chicken and turkey right now. Okay, see there. That was something I didn't know. I didn't know the chicken and turkey, right now. But that's awesome. I did hear a little blip about that happening coming in November. If you remember in the beginning of this video, I've had a bunch of customers tell me, November. Maybe that's part of, that data that I haven't seen yet, but I kind of heard rumors about, was that volumes will be going up, so that would obviously make sense with the potential for rates to go up. And we should all be trying to, obviously take advantage of that. Especially you as carriers, don't accept anything less. Partner yourself with direct customers and those brokers that you can trust. All of my carriers that I work with, they want to see the load sheet that I get from my customer, how much I'm making on a load. I got no problem. You say, hey, Tim, I want to see it. And I've shown it before, right? I don't care. Yeah, partner with some people that you can trust. And, hopefully the break-even cost per mile will go down. 251, that just seems extraordinary to me. And then you said 225, I think it was. That's just, even that's high. Anywho, guys, I love you all. I appreciate you for viewing and joining me today. I'll definitely, like I said, I'll keep working on this and bringing more information, and we can all educate each other and we can all grow and succeed. Like I said, I've got, some people that want to come on. So, they can come on, share their ideas, their information with us all. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a fabulous Wednesday, right? And if you're a deer hunter, deer season starts soon, at least for us here in Michigan. So I am looking forward to that. But yeah. So, guys, again, thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you all again soon. All right. Bye bye now.